the bonus section. Good evening, good evening. So listen, the show hasn't started. This is the little bonus section while we wait for the media affiliates, the media outlets to provide us with a confirmation that they have accepted the stream. So some of you may be on listening, and that's what we call our little bonus town. Before we get to our hour of power, we like any moment we can squeeze out of talking and doing our bit for the edutainment of the community. That's what we're trying to do. I mean, that's why we're here. To have a voice, to be able to reach, whoever knows how many people, and to have a message of unity, a call to movement towards a community that we all can be representative of and represented by and for. We take this opportunity, man, to reach out to the community and try to, pull together our resources as we never have before. And I'm not just talking about capital and finances. I'm talking about our intellectual resources, because as we know, none of us is as smart as all of us. And, we just want to take this opportunity to have you join this movement. And this movement entails, moving forward and not going backwards, because that seems to be the general consensus of maybe half of the country, according to some of the polling, which, that's here to there. But a lot of people actually think that things were better at a time where, for them, like it wasn't for us, or for a lot of people. A lot of times we talk about slavery, but we don't talk about the women's suffrage movement, that, women for eons were considered peons and non-existent. And, so how soon do we forget? Because now that women have good stature, they forget that they had to fight like we have to fight for all our rights. They're talking about civil rights, talking about human rights. A little under the weather, but like I said, unless I'm under the ground, I'm going to be here to make sure that we stay top up. Remember, we use the news that we can use, and we talk about topics that, in a way, and topics that others won't touch. Controversy is whatever you want to call it, but we speak truth to power, and the power is to the people. So we talk to you, and you can now talk to us. If you see the number on the line, 716-202-8430. That's 716 area code 202-8430. That is our new call-in number. We had the blessings of starting it a couple of days ago. I know this is not my regular Tuesday, but like I said, any chance we get, and unfortunately, I do have to take some rest. It's been a rough, long year, and I am going to take some time off next month. My family, a little vacation, rest and rejuvenation, because, you can't run on an empty cup, man. You got to fill that up. And that requires some self-care, some sitting back, some reflecting, some downtime, some time for, to really rest, regroup, and re-energize, rejuvenate, and reignite the fire for the struggle that we all embark in.
Okay, Twitch has accepted the
stream. Twitch has accepted the stream. We're about to go live, so Twitch has accepted the stream.
Okay, let's see who else is accepted.
Let's see who else is accepting it.
YouTube has accepted the stream.
YouTube has accepted the stream.
And Facebook has accepted
the stream. So we're about to go live. So you want to hit that counting down, and then maybe we can.
Yeah, I'll give you the countdown.
Thank you. That's first of all, I'm going to do a formal introduction, but you hear the guy in the background. That's our all-around guy, production man, engineer, owner, operator, and soon-to-be CEO of the largest media corporation in the country.
Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready. Here's the countdown. You got that bonus coverage? Thank you for joining early if you were with us. If not, we're about to start the show.
Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it, but I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
From the world-renowned, famous and infamous Tupac Amaru Shakur, our brother who dropped it, man, that, you know, that's what Think Twice Radio is, and that's what the Wright Report. We don't know if we can change the world, or even if we'll be around when that change is effectuated. But our goal is to spark the brain that will make the change. But a change gonna come. So they can sit down and keep playing these games they want to play, but we all know who's in charge of this, and I'm not trying to insult anybody by their faith, but God is in charge, and He is a God of justice and righteousness. Something we're going to talk about today. We got special guests in the studio, but let me do my intro. This is I am Jerome Wright, and I'm your host for the Wright Report, what we call edutainment for the community, and where we don't worry about ratings, but we do worry about the facts, and we talk facts. We speak truth to power because we know that the power is you. The people, not those who think they got power or those who have titles, but the power always, has always, and will always reside with the people. So we come talking to you about this movement that we are formulating, this movement of unity and commonality, man, because we have more things in common, especially now, than we have different. And because things are different, don't make them bad. I don't know when different changed from just something being different. Now, if it's different, it's good or bad. But we'll get to that another time. 'Cause I got a special guest in the studio. I want to shout out Richard Wicker. He just left the studio, do his thing. He'll be right back to keep the board going. I want to thank Richard Wicker, who is the owner-operator of Think Twice Radio, who gives us the opportunity to come to you live via satellite, radio, streaming. And, this is the home of the future. I don't know how Richard conjugates that, but what I see is the home of the future is where, like now, we should not be depending on everybody or anybody to provide us with the resources we need. And that includes good commentary, good news, good information, and some love and care for the people that we share this with. So that's what you're going to get here. So if you think twice, you're actually thinking right. You're thinking the Wright Report, edutainment for the community. We're here for you. We have this saying that it's you and I, because you can't have unity without you and I, and you can't have community without unity. So we're building this movement towards universal community based on those of us who understand that we are more alike than we are different, and we are better together than we are apart. And so that's our message to you. And so I want to introduce, this is not our regular Tuesday slot, but this came up, and like I said, I'll never miss the opportunity to share my truth with you and have you share yours with me and ours. And you can do that by the call-in numbers on the screen, 716-202-8430. But I got a young man in this studio that I know intimately. I am eminently proud of and thankful for, blessed to have. And that's my son, Justin Jerome Wright. How you doing, Justin?
Great.
A couple of days ago, last week or something, we had the cousins and the uncles on. I mean, this is a family show, but you family too, so we gonna invite you in. There's a lot of things going on, and I don't want everything to look like doom and gloom because, I serve a God who says, in the morning, I'll cry at night, but there will joy will come in the morning, and that you and I know, like, good times, bad times don't last always. So we gonna ride this storm. So I don't want to keep harping on those national issues that they're gonna beat you in the head with every day on the news. But I want to come close to home. I got a young man here. He's not a young man anymore. How old you now, son?
30.
30 years old, 3 decades old. This is my son, Justin Wright, and I am proud of him because I was not. People who know my story know I was incarcerated, and for a bit of that incarceration, he was born, and I had the benefit of being there, being the daily presence in his life. And then when I got out, that was it. We had daily presence. And you always like to think that, you're doing something to help your children and to promote them to do what they gifted for and what they best at. And Justin, to my surprise and pleasure, has been heading the fight for disability rights. He is a disability advocate. I'm gonna let him tell you about himself, but he runs disability programming. He does advocacy for issues germane to the people with disabilities. And he has his own story, and so I'm gonna let him tell it. But I just want to say it is, first of all, a pleasure to have him in the studio, and it is a blessing that he's grown into the man that he is, and I'm extremely proud of you. I want to say that in front of everybody because I'm gonna jump on you when you're not right, but when you right, like the Wright reports, I'm gonna give you a due. So Justin, what do you do? Who's Justin Wright as far as this topic goes? Yeah.
That's my father. I am Justin Wright, and I am part of the Self-Advocacy Association, New York State, with Mike and Sophia.
Okay.
And I'm the group part of SAGE.
SAGE.
And SAGE is for a statement and alignment.
Okay.
And we get together, we set up a agenda, and we do encouraging words, we do fundraisers for the conferences and other stuff as well.
So self-advocacy, somebody listening here, that's foreign to them. They understand what self-advocacy. We ain't even going to talk about the disability part, but to you, what is self-advocacy?
To me, self-advocacy is about advocating for people in our community and help people who need help to have the access to their services and all that stuff.
Wow. Now, you know what's beautiful about that? And this is not just because you're my son. People would automatically feel that self-advocacy is doing something for yourself. But what you said is that it's making sure that everybody gets what they need. Advocating for self is advocating for others because you see others like yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is a great principle. I wish we'd adhere to that more in this country because then we would be in the abominable shape that we are. But so using that concept, who do you advocate for?
I advocate for all disability people with disabilities or without disabilities as well. Okay,
so if somebody had a disability, what type of services do you have ability to provide for them?
At least services for people with disabilities would be ODD, self-direction.
Okay. Now you gotta remember, all of us ain't as smart as you, so ODD sounds like odd to most of us. We ain't talking about nothing odd. So sometimes you get those acronyms, you got to break it down because I didn't know ODD is odd to me. That's what it spells. So
it's OWDD.
Okay. So what is OWDD?
OWDD is the services for people with disabilities and to help us with our services,
right,
like self-direction, planning, and how to do things for yourself.
Okay. So how rewarding, how do you find that opportunity to do that, to provide help people with disabilities?
I found that as important for people to access to more services in their community. But if they don't have those services, how are they going to have a good life?
Right. No, because everybody else gets services to make sure that they have a good life or better access to them. If you were, they got an election going on and they got a mayor's race, so there's going to be a new mayor in Buffalo. If you had the opportunity to talk to the mayor about the disability problems that people with disabilities face here in Buffalo, what would you say to him?
I would say that we need help.
I got you.
Because we don't have any people in this community with disabilities without people with disabilities. So I think if I talk to the mayor, I would say, we need help. We're not getting what we deserve. Why are we still here? Why are we still not in process?
Okay, so what are the things that you deserve, that people with disabilities deserve that you're not getting?
We are not getting any services or any help with people with disabilities with medications, staffing, housing, people who have issues with staff and have no access to come to these conferences in wheelchairs because people live too far.
So accessibility, transportation, the things that define somebody as disabled, it is unfortunately something they got to fight for to maintain any type of semblance of life.
Absolutely.
That is terrible. I am glad that you're an advocate. You have a disability.
Yes, I do.
And your disability, if you don't mind saying it?
Down syndrome.
You have Down syndrome. And on the spectrum of disabilities, you and others do not have services now, right? Like employment opportunities.
Absolutely.
Tell me about your story. I know you made a speech about not being employed. I think it's important.
Being not having employed and not having a job is very devastating because people don't get what they get reserved. I think people should get employment. It's not about we can't do this and you cannot do that.
Right.
They are treating us unfairly and uncomfortable and not ring. We call it that word, that R word, respect.
Right. No respect.
So we're not getting that respect for people in this community. It's like we can't get a job because you have disability. You cannot get a job, and all this and that. It's not right.
No, it isn't right. It isn't right. You've worked before, though, haven't you?
I have worked. I worked for America through Zannies, but they cut the funding issue with People Inc.
Right.
So now I just found out a long time ago, they finally sued People Inc. for that.
Okay.
Cutting AmeriCorps out. So I'm thankful that they did that for us.
So you think that now that you might get the job back? Is that possible? Or I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I mean, like, so not being able to be employed means what to you?
Not being employed, not having your own job.
Yeah. I mean, what if you employed, what would you do?
I'll be working and providing for my family and others.
Right. And right now you're unable to do that.
I am unable to do that right now, yes.
So how do you survive now?
I'll survive by people that is around you, you know? But people that I survive is people with people who I'll continue to expand self-advocacy and not let it get to me.
Okay. So when you're doing self-advocacy, that means going to conferences. That means speaking with legislators, lawmakers. That means educating the community about things you do have, don't have. Yep. So here's an opportunity. If you were you want to let the community know about some things that you might think they need to know about people with disabilities or the lack of services for them.
It's definitely about, I think, people with disabilities. I would say that services are more important.
Services than employment. Services is like that will provide what?
Provide them to work. And provide them to live.
So you talk about housing. So services, that mean that you would be able to get a job.
Yeah.
Provide for yourself with housing.
Absolutely.
Your medical, so that the medication problem that obviously you talked about earlier, and that medication problem is serious because you're talking about people's health.
Yep.
If they don't get medication on time, what I find distressing is that incarcerated people who have disabilities are treated like you say people out here with disabilities are, and that is a sad testament on this on this government, on this country, on
absolutely.
People. You're saying that the most vulnerable among us, you don't want to provide services. That's like
crazy.
I mean, like, what do you expect people to do who need services and can't get them?
To continue, No,
I mean, you're going to continue to fight, but I'm saying in general sense, what do they expect from people who have a disability, who already have, like an issue with being respected and looked at equally, and then you don't provide services that they need, not just asking for or want, that they need. And you're 30 years old. I think most 30-year-old men want to have a job, want to have their own place of lodging, want to have the ability to do the things that everybody else does, right?
Yes.
And so you're saying that. So we're talking now about. I know in this community, I've been to some of your programs, and there are a lot of people in this community with quote unquote disabilities. There are people who are diagnosed with disabilities, and people who are not officially diagnosed with disabilities. Regardless of what their status is, people should be given the services that they need to become the best versions of themselves possibly. That's whether you have disabilities or not.
That's correct.
But right now, what we're having is a situation in both circumstances where nobody is getting services. And to make it even bleaker, let me tell you, I was just talking to some guys today, and most of the correction facilities are getting no services either. So it doesn't matter whether you see, people keep saying, if people in prison, whatever happens to them. I keep telling you, when you sell out somebody else, you're next. You're next. There is the proverb about the guy who saw them come for this group, and he didn't say nothing. And they see them come for the next group, and he ain't say nothing. And they keep coming for the next group, and he ain't say nothing. And you know what? Finally, they came for him, and he had nobody to help him because he never said nothing or helped anybody when the situation was on the other side. We have to stop waiting for things to personally impact us, to be an impact in stopping those things from happening to others.
Right.
Why should you wait till you're in a situation to do something about a situation that anybody can be in, including yourself? I think that's the height of folly, and I think that's the height of ignorance on all of us. I came to this lately, but I'm just saying, it just makes too much sense that we should be taking care of each other without being spurred on by SNAP payments being delayed or declined, without having to depend on people that we know, for the most part, do not care about us.
Absolutely. The things that you said about people incarcerated with disabilities, I think people like staff who's in jails see these things and don't jump at it and say, oh, this one has so you can't continue that.
Right.
So the staff, you have to work with the staff.
Well, the difference with incarceration mainly and out here is that the staff who you deal with are so much trained and affiliated with understanding how to provide service, how to understand your disability. And they're not trained for that. They're trained only for custody, to hold and control. Yeah. And even the mental health staff, I dare to say, I don't know how trained they are, but they're significantly overwhelmed because they don't provide them even with enough. Because when you don't respect people, they become expendable and throwaway. And, we have loved ones like you. I can't imagine you being in a situation where people are not providing. I mean, I'm your parent. I'm going to provide. I'm charged with providing from the cradle to the grave.
Correct.
But there is a time when you, as a young man and a young woman, want to assert your independence, go out into the world, and having a disability, mental, physical, or whatever, should not be an impediment to that.
Absolutely.
I mean, isn't that what self-advocacy about?
Yes.
So we're advocating now for all of us to take a better look at the services that are not provided, for the most part, our most vulnerable and cherished population. I know, speaking about my son, he is he's a deacon in our church.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a deacon in our church. He's a self-advocate. He has, matured in ways that are natural and should be respected in spite of a disability, but more so because they were done with a disability. And I like I said earlier, I don't want to have you blushing up here, but it is a blessing to have you. And people who have disabilities should be advocating for other people with disabilities, not people who do not. And we see too much of that too.
Yeah. I think all of us do that. Like Sophia do Zooms all the time, and she talk about different things and different aspects. So I would say to a lot of people with disabilities, just not just worry. We got this from here. Let us do our job and let us do what we had to do to help you guys to get services that you guys need. Because if you don't get the stuff you need, how are you going to live life? How you get employment? How you get the housing stuff in order? How do you get your transportation provided? Like people with have transportation with paying transit, they have issues. And issues with paying transit is they take you to one place to the next, and they drop you off at the wrong location.
So that happens a lot.
That happens a lot, and I think that with paying transit, you have to keep your eyes open and not thinking about it. God didn't make us this way. God made us who we are. People with disability, parents who have raised children with disability, to understand that we're not just saying these things because we want to help you, but we want to help you to provide help for those people who have health issues and medications, because we don't want them to die. We don't want them to pass away. We want to help them.
You said something so profound that I don't think you even recognize it, especially for those of us who believe in God. You said God made us who we are, and in the same breath in the church we'll say He don't make no mistakes. And then when we see somebody with disabilities, we don't recall the scripture, the biblical reference to God makes us in His image, and His image is multifaceted, encompasses all of us, including those with Down syndromes or disabilities. What happens to the spirituality that we forget?
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I think what Bishop had preached about next day.
Yes.
All of us have to have next day. And we don't have it the next day. How are we going to survive without next day?
Well, see, unfortunately, we don't have time to redo the sermon, and many people who are listening probably don't know what you're talking about. But I could just give a brief outline of that. My bishop pastor has been, first of all, I said happy birthday on your birthday, but right now, since we're on the air, we're going to say a belated happy birthday to Bishop T. Anthony Brown, senior pastor at Elam Christian Fellowship Church. And for the past couple of months, he has been teaching on a theme of the next day from the book by, what's his name? No, the book by, who's the woman who got divorced? And it'll come to me, but he's been teaching about this book. I know Jeff Bezos. Is it Jeff Bezos? Yes. I think it's Jeff Bezos. No. Gates. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, yeah.
Bill and Melinda Gates. One of the richest, most powerful couples in the world. Melinda wrote a book called The Next Day, and our pastor has been preaching from that book, the concept that people are going to go through things. Imagine being one day a multi-billionaire person and with a husband and the world, as your oyster, and then the next day, all of that is gone. All of that changes, and he teaches that we all should be prepared and understand that the next day, and that's the next day after something atrocious or discombobulating happens. It almost screams scripturally what we talked about earlier, that you will cry, but joy comes in the morning. Like there will be a next day. People who commit suicide, That's one of the reasons why they do that, because they don't see that there could be a next day. So they take their lives that day, not knowing that there's always a next day if you choose, to accept that concept. So he's been preaching from that, and I guess what you were bringing that here and saying that it's the next day in everybody's lives. People with disabilities have to have that, and that the concept of the next day. And unfortunately, I haven't read the book. I've been really tired of it. I guess I should. Being that we're being, pastored through it. But the concept also is about everything that's going on now.
Yes.
If we let everything that's going on now, if you were to let the fact that you had a disability stop you or prevent you from becoming the best version of yourself that God actually created you to be, even with the disability, that would be a travesty. That would be a blight on God's tablets of life, because he gave you this to be the best you can. But now you're saying we're getting stifled.
We are being stifled because I don't think that we should, as people with disabilities, doesn't get anything out of it. That means, as a person with a disability, people keep saying that people cannot become a deacon with a disability. How's that possible? I'm a deacon and I have this disability. I have what I have. I'm special. What about anybody else?
You special. You definitely
I'm special. People with autism is special. Everybody with different disabilities has specialness inside of them.
Amen.
So where is the principle of learning about God and not learning about disability?
Well, you said that very well. That God is the answer here. That disabilities, people going to always tell you, and this is for everybody, not anybody with disability. People are always going to tell you what you can and cannot do.
Correct.
They're going to tell you what you should and should not do. But if I know you're spiritually motivated, and if you allow God, like you do, to lead you, to guide you, to direct you, to teach you, to nurture you, you're going to be what you're supposed to be.
Yes.
And disability aside, you brought me to a place that I wasn't even thinking about. We had a discussion that you said, man, God made everybody who they are because that was his wish and his will. And whatever you have or don't have is ascribed to his plan. And I bring me back to the scripture that said, man makes a plan and God laughs, because we keep forgetting who's in control. And that is the peace of mind that people should have and could have, especially in these darkest of times. And I think that was an enlightenment state. I didn't even, because some people look at people and say, well, why are they like that? It's because God ordained it to be like that.
Yep.
And if you would respect his creation, then you would get the benefit of the blessings that whatever he gave them to bless, because you bless us all the time. Not just talking about our family. I know even in church, when you're not there, we got the baddest musicians. We got the baddest singers. We got the baddest dancers, from the elderly to the children.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, our musical ministry is top flight, no doubt. But there are people who said that there are times when the musical ministry don't get them as spiritually engaged as when you are out there being who you are in Christ. And that's a blessing that we give everybody. I know the time that you, it was a couple of months, after COVID, where rightfully so you were, reticent about going back into the church, and, you weren't going, and people were missing you to the point where, when I came in the doors, I knew I had to field at least 5-6 questions about where you were at. And that's because your presence is felt. The God in you is felt by all of them and others, and sadly to say, people would focus on the fact that you have a disability. That's why I want to give a shout out to Elam Christian Fellowship. It's the only church I've known. To be honest, I'm not.
We've been there for 16 years.
Yeah, for 16 years. The only, like I said, saved there, baptized there. We shared it. Matter of fact, we made history as being the first.
Father and
hopefully
son.
not the only father and son deacons.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and I shout out to my brother.
Kelly
Funderburg, who he made history. We made simultaneous history. Him and his wife became the first husband, wife, married, dead deacons, and we were the sons. And Kelly Funderburg is meant to me. I love that man. We love that man, and y'all just don't know. One day we gonna get him in there to tell the story, man, because I think that story is something else. I'm gonna leave you with a teaser on that. I was in prison. So when I came home, he was my parole officer. ... Continue to be continued. And I finished telling you, when you hear this, and I'm gonna get him in here, he ain't for the limelight, but he is for the people. So I'm gonna tell him this for the people, and we'll get him in here, and we'll tell you. They go your auntie, man. Hey Sheila, good evening, love you, man. Praying for your fast healing, and God bless you. That's our aunt. But yeah, I just really, God, man, God is what's in this, man. I know people come listen on this, they want to talk about positive, they want to get drama, but sometimes we got to go back to the basics, man. And the basic is that, God is who made you and me, and whatever gifts we have is what he gave us, and I am so proud to see you living up to those gifts and spreading them. That whole statement about self-advocacy is not about advocating for myself. It's about advocating for everybody else.
Yes.
I think that said it all. That sums it all up. And I'm so glad that you so succinctly gave us that definition, because it would be so easy to say it's about fighting for yourself. But actually, a fight for yourself is a fight for others, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I will ask this. Where do you see the fight that you're engaged in now? Where do you see that going? How much further do you think you can get? How much success do you think that you can get?
I think it's be for me. I would say for all people across the state, because we have all reasons.
Right.
So I think for my reason, we need to push harder.
Okay.
Because if we don't push harder, we're gonna lose people.
Right.
We can't lose people because we cannot push harder.
Okay, so your clarion call to Western New York advocates, self-advocates, and district communities that step up a little bit. So we push harder.
Yes.
So push harder sounds general. What ways that you would advise people to be pushing harder?
To advocate more.
To advocate more. Mm-hmm.
And provide more.
To provide more. So, like I said, we got elections next week. Yeah, next week, the 4th, November 4th. Go out and vote. Now, I'm not one of them that's going to sit here. Oh, you got your cousin on it, Booney, as he boom. I'm not one who's going to say voting is the end all and the be all, and that voting is even for us. I think working in the system, you got to do certain things in the system to get things done, and certain things you do, you do because you do, because they have to be done. But voting November 4th. Come out. These local elections are more important than that national election. Okay. Although this guy on the national election is causing havoc and hell, the persons closest to you, elected officials, are those who determine what happens in your life on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Now, those federal things going to come down the pipe and it's going to affect you here and there, but who your mayor is, who the judges and the sheriffs and who the city, the district, those things matter, because politics is about who provides the goods and services for you, and you need to. Julie hollering at you, just.
Hey, Julie.
I only been doing this show for the past couple of months, and everybody hollering at you, but that's the gift. That's what I'm talking about. Being you, doing you. that you get love like this from every. Look at this. See, all over, homie. And this is what we're supposed to be doing: spreading love, lifting each other up, and advocating for each other, man. Just because I don't share your problem, don't mean I should not share the burden of advocating with you, so we can alleviate your problem. Because believe me, nobody getting out of this without any problems.
That's right.
And the more we work together on them, the easier our problems will be and the quicker they will be resolved. Because right now, we just fighting against each other. We're holding our own, what they call in the church, we're blocking our own blessings. You know what I'm saying?
Blocking our own blessings.
Blocking our own blessings. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that because that's something for you. The blessing is yours. In talking about disabilities, you listed a couple like Down syndrome, autism. What would people who don't know about what the different disabilities are? What are some of those disabilities that people would not know about, or not even understand that they are categorized as disabilities?
Well, I think they should know, because a lot of people, I can't name all disabilities.
I wasn't attempting. My bad. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I can't name them, spell them, but I was saying, you said autism and Down syndrome. We know that there's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the point I was really getting at. Not how many there are, but that there are some things, disability is not only mental illness. It is physical disability. That's what I was trying to get you to try to throw you a little hoop. Try to throw you a lob and went out of bounds. Since bad, that was my turnover. But yeah, that people with physical difficulties. And I feel like I might be slipping into that any day, either with my eyes or my legs or whatever. And then I will be I would have to count myself among the disabled. And then I'm going to want to fight for services.
Correct.
Instead of fighting for services for others now, so that by the time, if that becomes my reality, I don't have to fight.
That's true. But I would say this, though. We have to fight.
Well, I know.
I'm not saying that.
I got you. No,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like we have to fight because disability is more important, more than continually, how I'm getting with this is trying to advocate. Mm-hmm. If we don't advocate, who are we going to be and how are we going to be?
No, I got it. No, I wasn't saying. So I guess my bad. Let me clarify my supposition. I'm saying not to stop fighting, because you're right. We should always be fighting.
Correct.
Because the enemy can't win as long as you're in battle. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you should always be fighting. But what I meant by the fight shouldn't be as rigorous for your generation as to the next. There should be some, at least modicum of progress, so that every time we turn around, everybody's not suffering the same issues. And that means there's no growth, there's no change, and that means nothing's getting better. And what we talking about, Department of Corrections now, because that's what that is. Nothing's changed, nothing getting better.
No.
But we out here, we can't perpetuate that out here. We don't want to perpetuate it in there, but we can't perpetuate it out here. I want to say, this is a quote from Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey, who created the Pan-African movement. They ran him out of here because he was talking about what I'm talking about now. Now, I don't know where they can run me to, but I ain't running nowhere, so it don't make a difference. He talked about unity and on a level that, listen what he said, a people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Let me. A people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Marcus Garvey.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of our issues right now are coming from. We are a people without knowledge of our history. And the goal now is to erase that so that you don't get knowledge of it. We don't know our origin, the fact that we were the first ones here, and created mostly all of this, and culture. That's why we can be. It could be trends and not culture. A culture is something that's generationally passed on and revered. Trends is what we got now. What's trending now? What's cool? What's hip? And let me clear this up for anybody listening. Because I know only your family probably listening right now, and that's okay, because we need to be talking to each other. And I hope you will encourage other people. I'm taking the month of November off until I'll be back on November 25th, right? And from November 25th to the end of the month and the end of the year, I will be back on my regular Tuesday slot, 7:30, 3:30 here at Think Twice Radio. And I want, I want y'all to be there. We want to end this year with a bang, and then we want to start it off with a boom bang by talking about some things that we could do. It's coming up real soon, and I need they're having this blackout, and it's not black people, it's a blackout. So all these thousands of millions of people in the street talking about No King's Day and all that. I want to see y'all do what they asking us to do now, to not for that whole week from I think it's the 28th to December 2nd. I'm gonna find it before we leave here. I had the notes. It's a blackout. We're not spending our money with all these corporations who have gotten these billionaires off of us and don't want to pay a fair wage, don't want to give good health coverage, don't want to stand up to this government of anarchy that's about to happen, to this guy who wants to be a king, who continue to play both sides against the middle, who continue to take our money and don't do nothing for us with it. And this is a call. I mean, this is not. We didn't marched. We didn't rallied. We didn't sung songs. We didn't wrote to the Congress. We didn't did everything damn near under the sun. So the thing we need to do now is what we know capitalists hate: get in their pockets. Get in their pockets. Like they in our pockets right now. We need to be getting in their pockets. And how you get in their pockets? Most of these major corporations and all these rich people. Okay, there it is. It's from what? 11:25 to 12:02. Thank you, cousin. You said I think. You can't give me no. We got receipts around here. If you bringing me a bogus receipt and I take no. Somebody shout out to me. I had it written down, and I don't want to be jumping around trying to locate it. But that you sound about right. I know it's that end of November, first week of December thing, and it is a blackout. It is to black out our money from the establishment. Not saying that you can't have whatever celebrations and things you planning on doing, but let's do this the way that we don't give everybody else a benefit. We're going to give our own community a benefit. Shop local. Shop black. Don't go into none of these big box stores, none of these franchises, none of these conglomerates that continually suck the money out of our community, give us nothing, treat us not right, and give us inferior products to begin with. I keep trying to tell people, we can't do nothing. That Montgomery boycott, 365 days, them brothers and sisters held out a year. By the end of that year, that bus company would have let them drive the bus, not just sit in the front seat, drive the bus, because their companies were out of money. That money. See, we are the economy. You better wake up. That's why they don't want you to be woke. Because when you realize that we are the economy, we are the economy. When we take that money out during this blackout, when we take that money out, thank you, Vaughn. When we take that money out of this economy during this blackout, you're going to see a whole different change. You will see the power that we have. They will feel the power that we have. And then we'll have the leverage to tell them to stop playing these games. Because once we learn how to do it, it's just like COVID. COVID was an abomination. But people learned to adapt and adjust in the face of death after death and sickness after sickness, and we morphed into a community that now don't have to work from or in the office. We don't have to work from home. We've taken advantage. We took lemons and made lemonade out of it. That's a grandma saying. But this is what we need to do now. They giving us this lemon life, sour as you know what. Well, you know what we can do? We ain't got to add sugar to it. All we can do, thank you, Soph. Hey, go Sophia, yeah, she's on there. Sophia, I'm just telling you, I don't know if you just got on or not, but Justin was big up in you. And yes, Sophia says we need a world of care for one another. No Medicaid cuts, fair pay, housing, transportation, self-determined respect, dignity, and jobs. Thank you, Sophia. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about there's not the real justice is providing people with the ability to be the best human beings they could be without struggling, without suffering. You want to end crime? Let's keep talking about crime. That's a good diversionary tactic. But if they want to end crime, you know how you end crime? End poverty. End poverty and you end crime. Best view. End poverty. Nobody's born a criminal. Their poverty creates criminality. Poverty is going to create that rebellion that's about to happen in this country now because the lack of services, because the games they're playing in Washington with everybody's life. You're talking about Medicaid, people's health. You're talking about SNAP, people's health, children's health. You say you're a country of people who care and love other people, and you treat your own like this? Ooh, that's well, you got some cojones, boy. But we gonna show them the bigger cojones. We gonna come together, and I'm asking you. I'm not begging nobody, because if you don't do it, you're gonna be just like the people who I tried to ask and even beg not to vote for this guy or to vote, because a non-vote for her was a vote for him. To vote. And they didn't. And now we got this ignoramus in the White House causing discombobulation of everybody's lives for what? For what? Don't make that mistake now. Don't take your money to these people. Keep your money in your community, by black, by your ethnicity. And they're talking about don't keep, listen, like my women used to tell their daughters, if you're gonna give it to him, then he ain't got to milk the cow. He got it. He's got it. We got to be, and I'm talking like everybody ain't got to agree on what we do and how we do it, but we all got to agree that something got to be done, right? And when we talk about capitalism and money. That's what the principle upon this country is founded on. People can call it a democracy. This is a republic. It's a capitalist republic. Know who you at. Know what you facing with. Dollars and cents rules this country. That's why those who have do and get away with what they want, and those who don't, because it's about haves and have-nots. So when you go in their pockets. We've been broke before, right? We know how to handle that. We don't, not that we like it, but we know how to handle it. They get broke, and we saw people jumping out of windows and from the window over to the wall. They would just, they can't handle it. Now, I don't want nobody jumping out the window. Somebody gonna say, out of all the things I said, somebody gonna pull out that snippet and say he's advocating for people to commit suicide. Kiss my rear end, because that is not all I said. And you can take that soundbite out if you want, but the people who really heard it, and hear what I'm saying now, they will debunk you, and especially because it's family, they might step to you. I'm only kidding, but I'm not. I'm only kidding, but I'm not. Serious. Come on, man. Pray, I don't even know what to say, man. We messed up, but you know what? The next day, we can make it right.
That's still, I'm about to say that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't see that. in our community.
Yeah, I mean, what we're not seeing is that, again, we're not all in the same boat, but we all in the same storm.
Yes, we are.
And that same analogy, a rising tide lifts all boats. While if you take care of the least of us, then the rest of us is the best of us is gonna be all right. That's like a concept that to me shouldn't be so foreign. Oh, so you're only saying that because you ain't got no money. I don't need $63 billion.
We don't.
And I don't care what you say, I don't want $63 billion. And somebody on my block got nothing. If you got 62 and you got 55, I'll take the 63. But don't give me 63 and millions have nothing.
Absolutely.
That ain't justice. That ain't right. That ain't American. Where's the piece of the pie there? If you got the whole pie, you only giving me crumbs to begin with. Come on, man, let's wake up. Take this money out of their pockets, man. We got people with disabilities advocating for you who don't got none.
Correct.
And you can't get up and advocate for what's right. I tell you, Martin Luther King Jr. said it best, and I can't quote him verbatim, but he said, it's not the drama and the noise of our enemies. It's the silence of our friends and those who should be speaking up that's going to doom this whole thing.
What about what he said? But he had a speech.
Mm-hmm.
He dreamed about a speech.
Right.
I believe in that because Martin Luther King had dreamt about his speech.
Mm-hmm.
Where is all these people in his community who doesn't have access to anything?
Where are they?
Where are they?
They're in our community, unfortunately. And like I said, we got a new mayor coming. All over the state, we got elections going on. The question is, are things going to change? I'm fortunate to work in an area where I deal with a lot of politicians, and I do think Manami is the truth. I mean, I've worked with him, looked him in the eyes, seen his principles. Sean Ryan, who seemed to be the front runner here, I have my questions, but some things got to change. That's all I'm saying. It can't remain the same. But by consequence, we got to be the change that we want to see. I'm not waiting for it. I'm right here, right now, and I'm saying and doing what I said I think I need. Now, it may not be enough. Like Tupac said, I ain't gonna be the one to change the world, but I want to be at least the one to spark the brain of the person who will do it. Because change got to come. We can't keep going down this trajectory. It is impossible and implausible for people with all the sense and technology we got to continue being like that, like this.
I was trying to say is this. What about those people who have guns in their hands that don't have access to anything?
That's all they got is guns.
All they got is guns, but we're using guns to kill people. How is that possible?
Well, the whole idea of gun violence, and I want to be clear about this. This whole Second Amendment thing sounds good, but when you are causing people to allowing people to go in schools and shoot down people and go in churches and shoot down people, then you got to do something. That you know what's funny about this country? They won't allow you to have a gun to do whatever you want, but when you talk about freedom of speech, they don't want you can't say what you want. You can't say what you want. So we got freedom of speech, and you can't be free to speak. And we got the Second Amendment, and you can have a gun and kill anybody you want, anytime you want. And more people with most guns in this country don't look like you and me. The people who kill people with guns in this country, most not look like you and me. Forget their black on black crime, lie, and propaganda.
Yeah.
So it's about being human, about treating each other with humanity. Now you got some people who haven't learned how to be human.
Absolutely.
But the most of us know. We know how to be human. We just don't act like we know. And that's the problem, man. The problem is we got to start being more human. And what happens when you realize that you're more human, you become more of a family, become more coalesced around the things that we're talking about, around this movement. This movement is about you and I unifying to make the beloved community, man, that we really want to live in. Not this sham of a community, not this sham of a governmental structure, not this sham of equality or freedom and justice and all that. We want the real thing, man. We didn't have the light version or the fake, the other version. We want the real thing, but we can't ask for it. We got to be it. And that's what we're talking about now. Where are you on that scale? Are you going to continue to be part of the problem, or are you going to decide now to be part of the solution? The question is on you, because I know which side I'm standing on. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't a part of the problem before. I raised my hand, right hand to God, I was. What was is not what is. And what is what's now. And if you and I don't do it, who?
Absolutely.
And if not, when?
Yeah. I was going to say that, like, what happened with those...
Yeah.
What about those people, those 10 victims who was killed at Tops?
Yeah.
What about those people? What about those families going to go through pain?
Yeah, especially around this holiday time, and we got nothing.
We're gonna get nothing.
Nothing.
Because all these people, still have stores. Tops had cameras inside the stores now, but why you didn't have that before?
No, and I understand you make a good point. The security that they have, but it wasn't security that failed us on that day.
No,
it was the fact that there was only one. This young man. This animal, actually, that's who you can call an animal. You always calling us that. That's who you can call an animal. That racist.
That racist person.
Oh, he researched this. He digitally, he looked it up and found out where he could go, where he could commit most death and devastation to black people. And he found that there was only one store, one supermarket in this community, which allowed him to know that if there's only one in the black community, ain't none but a bunch of black people gonna be in there. And he came and he killed those people. That same situation that precipitated that massacre exists right now while we sitting here.
The reason why I say that because he posting on Twitter, he doing on TikToks. Over.
Listen, the fact of the matter is, it could happen again today.
Okay.
We've had 2 cases. One they tried to hide, and another that wasn't hitting so well, of people having guns and being in that store. I don't know, trying to reenact. I didn't get the particulars because they tried to hide it. But right now, somebody can go on the Jefferson Avenue Tops and create more death and devastation than he did because nothing's changed. So we lost 10 valuable community lives. I'm not talking about thugs and gangbangers and drug dealers. I'm talking about grandmas and great-grandmas and uncles and cousins and mothers and...
children.
Yeah. And we lost them to get what? We ain't even got a memorial yet. And let me tell you something. Nowhere in the world would they allow that to happen. Everywhere else in the country where massacres have happened, they've leveled the area, never let the people walk on that ground except to memorialize it. But for our community, walk on your grandmother's grave, walk on the blood of your family, walk on this hollow ground to do what you've been doing, just shop.
Yes.
They wouldn't do it nowhere else. And a week after in Uvalde, Texas, the week after it happened, they raised the whole place, and the mayor's governor said they would never send nobody into a situation like that, to walk on the hollow ground like that.
I believe in that.
Only us. Listen, the show's about to be over. We got a little hype. You got me hyped. I was trying to have a nice little calm, father son chat with the world, and you got me on mode. But that's all right, because that's what you're supposed to do. We blessed. Listen, y'all. I'm going to leave you with this because I think when you hear this again, you'll know why I keep playing it.
Hey. What is your deepest fear, young man? Go on.
Why you keep saying that? What's your deepest fear? What that mean?
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, We unconsciously give other people permission to do the same, as we are liberated from our own fear.